The Help by Kathryn Stockett. The novel is set in Jackson, Mississippi, 1962. There are three main protagonists in the novel. The novel switches between the three of them to get the most important point of views of the main plot across. All three characters have quite a lot of differences, but they also have one very big goal in common. They all want to make change in their racist town. The three protagonists are Minnie Jackson. Minnie is an older black woman who is a maid for a married couple, Celia and Jonathan Foote. Minnie helps the two through many problems and saves Celia's life on more than one occasion. Minnie has 5 kids. Minnie has a smart mouth, is untrusting of white people, and is very smart. Minnie becomes one of the key people in writing the book of interviews, Help. A quote illustrating Minnie's distrust of white people, as well as showing a side of her smart mouth is, "What am I doing? I must be crazy, giving a white woman the sworn secrets of the colored race to a white lady?" Another one of the three protagonists is Abilene Clark. Abilene is also an older black maid who is a maid for a younger white family, Elizabeth, LeFolt, and William. The two have 2 children, who Abilene almost sees as her own, and tries to raise them in an accepting environment. Their names are May Mobley and Ross. Abilene is kind-hearted and loving and knows how to keep her temper in check. This quote shows how Abilene encourages and fills May Mobley's head with good thoughts. You is kind, you is smart, you is important. The final protagonist is Eugenia Skeeter Fleen. Skeeter is a white woman who dreams of becoming a journalist, and that dream is starting to come true by the end of the novel, after Help has been published and became very popular, and Harper & Row magazine has hired her as a junior editor. Skeeter is very smart, kind, and very aware of her privilege. The antagonist for all 3 women is the same, Hilly Holbrook. Hilly is a rich white woman who is very persuasive. She can get what she wants very easily. Hilly is also very racist. As the novel continues, one comes to see that Hilly and Abilene are foils. This is displayed in the novel by Hilly being a racist, class-obsessed white woman who spreads hatred, whereas Abilene is a kind, open-minded black woman who is just trying to do the right thing and help people like her live a better life. At the beginning of the novel, Minnie is working for an elderly woman, Hilly Holbrook's mother. Hilly gets fed up with Minnie's smart mouth and decides to frame her for stealing her silver. Hilly tells the town of what Minnie did and eventually gets Minnie fired. Minnie, hearing the news, decides to get revenge. She brings Hilly a chocolate pie, saying it is a special gift for just her. Hilly assumes this means she is apologizing for her rudeness and eats the pie with gratitude. Minnie then says,
"Eat my shit." What'd you say? I said, eat my shit. Have you lost your mind? No, ma'am, but you about to. 'Cause you just did. Did what?
This is the terrible awful, as Minnie refers to it. This event itself happened at the very beginning, but the reader wasn't aware of it. The event was foreshadowed throughout the novel, with different mentionings of chocolate pie, and especially with Minnie saying on multiple occasions that she will not make chocolate pie, ever. Hilly Holbrook is the organizer for a movement entitled the Home Help Sanitation Initiative, where the members of the organization convince members of their town that Black people carry different kinds of diseases than we do. This starts off the relational conflict between Abilene and her employer, Elizabeth, as Elizabeth is persuaded by Hilly into making a bathroom in her garage for Abilene. This event also starts the mention of the symbol of the bathroom. The bathroom symbolizes the racism and lies the white people of Jackson believe, that black people are dirty. This particular event in the novel can relate back to Kill a Mockingbird and how the black society is treated. The theme of the importance of putting differences aside to achieve a greater good is presented in my novel when Ewell May Crookle, a black maid, is sent to jail because Hilly had caught her stealing an old ring to send her sons to college. There is a prayer meeting at Abilene's house for Ewell May, and Skeeter goes. 11 maids agree to join Skeeter's book of interviews at that meeting. The theme is illustrated in the main plot point of all the maids being fed up and outraged with how white women like Hilly can get away with these acts of racism and white privilege. The women are angry that there will not be any change done unless someone does something, so they put their fear and unease of working with a white woman aside to get the truth out about what goes on in the rich, suburban, 1960s white neighborhood. That seems nice on the outside, but with a closer look, one can see that the neighborhood is not that innocent and has a lot of secrets to tell, just like Skeeter's book of interviews. In contrast, there is the black neighborhood, much like that of In To Kill a Mockingbird. Even though the novels are set 30 years apart, there is a few differences in how black people are segregated and treated in both towns. As the novel begins to come to a close and the book of interviews has been published and released to the public, Minnie's husband Leroy abuses her. Leroy abuses Minnie on countless occasions, but this time really strikes a chord. He almost kills her. Hilly's husband, William, had told Leroy's employer that he needs to be fired, and it's Minnie's fault. This event demonstrates the lengths Hilly would go to get her revenge on Minnie for helping Skeeter write the book of interviews and putting the terrible awful in the book for the world to see what Minnie has done. A motif of a pie is shown here. The reoccurring motif of pies shows the significance of household chores the black help provides for their employers, as well as the terrible awful as a specific pie that represents the dirty and downright inhumane acts that can be seen as an onlooker as a sweet and homey treat. The final climactic event of the novel would be when Abeline gets fired from her job working for Elizabeth Lee Folt. Hilly frames Abeline for stealing her silver the same way she did with Minnie at the beginning of the novel, because she knows that this is what will hurt Abeline the most, and this demonstrates how far Hilly will go to get her revenge on anyone involved with the writing of Help. This scene also illustrates how much Abeline loves May Mobley and Ross, and how May Mobley has grown to love Abeline possibly more than her own mother. This novel can also be related to To Kill a Mockingbird by having one of the same main themes, racism and class in society. Both novels revolve around the mistreatment of black people and the kind of hierarchy there is between white people. As well, Skeeter is very similar to Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird. Both Atticus and Skeeter believe the ways of society are wrong and need change. Also, both Skeeter and Atticus risk almost everything they have to help the black community. Skeeter's typewriter is an important symbol in the Help, and it symbolizes the stand Abeline, Minnie, Skeeter, and the rest of the maids helping with Help are taking to fight racism in their town. As well as the typewriter itself is an important symbol, so is what the typewriter had printed out, the book of interviews itself, Help. On the cover of the book, there's a white dove. That white dove represents peace, and Help is a way of making peace between the Help and their employers. There's an example of irony when most people in Jackson have no idea they are racist, when they are the exact definition of the word. This is shown when Hilly and Elizabeth are taking about Skeeter having the Jim Crow laws, and Elizabeth states, "It's true, there are some racists in this town." This is irony, as Elizabeth and Hilly are very racist people who constantly spew hurtful and untrue lies at the expense of black people. There is an example of the tension of what is expected versus what is wanted. This is demonstrated when Skeeter decides to write the book of interviews. She's expected to not care about the kind of racist problems in her town, but she does. Also, Skeeter is pressured and expected to write about Hilly's home help sanitation plan, and when she finally does, she does it her way, and informs people that they should leave their old toilets on Hilly's lawn. As well, Abeline connects to the nurse in Romeo and Juliet, by both being a mother-like figure to whom they are caring for. Also, both women have lost a child and are still grieving years later.